Welcome back, everybody. Right now, a live debate. This November, you're going to be voting on question 2, whether or not to lift the cap on charter schools.
There are currently 78 charter schools operating across Massachusetts, and we wanted to explain to you what this ballot initiative would do. It would allow 12 new charters each year over the current limit. The State Board of Education would review applications for those new charters, and students are admitted by lotteries set by the charter schools.
So the question is, should we do this? To debate that question, Barbara Madeloni, head of the Massachusetts Teachers Association, she is opposed to this initiative, and Shannah Varon, head of Boston Collegiate Charter School and chair of the Boston Charter Alliance. And by the way, we're also hearing from you. You can use the hashtag Charter Debate on Twitter. We're live right now on Facebook where you can join that conversation, and we are streaming live at cbsboston.com. All kinds of ways for you to watch this. Barbara and Shannah, thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. It's great to be here.
And we want you to send in questions as we go on too. So the rules of the debate are as follows. This worked well on our debate about the marijuana initiative. Each person will be asked a question developed by the WBZ News team and viewers at home. One person will be given a minute to respond to the question, and then the opposition will do a 30-second rebuttal. So we do want to start by asking, we're going to get into a lot of the nitty-gritty and a lot of the numbers. So we wanted to start simply by asking you that gut emotional question that you might be hear from a parent in a school parking lot at pickup time. So Shannah, I'm going to begin with you. And your average parent who is skeptical of this, of 12 new charter schools a year, might say, isn't this inherently unfair because it's a public school, but not everyone can participate? Aren't you creating a two-tiered education system when not everyone can be a part of it?
Paula, thank you for asking that. So I would say, first and foremost, it's not a two-tiered system. What people need to understand is that charter schools get their students by random public lottery, so anyone can apply. And we actually know that thousands of people know about charter schools, try to get into them, and that's why we have a waiting list of over 30,000 children in Massachusetts who want to be in charter schools. So no, it's not an unfair system. It's available to anyone. We take students with special needs, we take English language learners, we take students from all backgrounds. Predominantly, we're serving low-income minority children. We're really in the urban centers, and I want to make sure viewers understand this question is about our cities. It is not about the suburbs. It is about our cities, and it's about choice for families of children in urban schools, and it's not a two-tiered system. It's access for everyone. That's what we're talking about.
It would allow 12 across all of Massachusetts, though.
It would allow up to 12.
Up to 12. And Barbara, your response?
Well, I would say to that parent, you're absolutely right. It is an unfair system. In fact, that's why 182 school committees across Massachusetts have said we don't want a two-tiered system. We want to fully fund our public schools. It's interesting that Shannah says that they're welcome to everyone because a Yes campaign representative has actually said, no, charter schools are selective, and they're not for everyone. Indeed, Shannah's own school serves fewer English language learners by a high percentage, by like 3% relative to Boston public schools, and a much lower percentage of students who are economically struggling.
So I want to take that skeptical
it's not fair.
Parent question to you now, Barbara. Some of them say that you're putting the unions ahead of the kids, that you're protecting a status quo that in some schools has not worked, and that we should be opening up the possibility of charter schools that have had some success to everyone. What do you say to that?
I would say that the union is teachers. And the union is teachers every day who go into schools because they care about the children of Massachusetts, because they're committed to the ideal of public education. 110,000 members who every day say the work that we have is a vision of public education in Massachusetts, the birthplace of free universal public education. We welcome every child. That's what the union is, and that's what why the union has allies in the NAACP, in the Parent Teachers Association, in the school committees, in the superintendents, who are all saying question 2 isn't good for public education. That's the thing that we care about, and that's what we're defending. Do we need to work on our public schools? Absolutely. We need to resource them more fairly, and that's the conversation. One of the things that really pains me about this debate is that we should be talking about fully funding public education. We had a state commission last year that said we underfund our public schools by more than $1 billion. That's the conversation I want to have.
Shannah, your response.
I don't disagree that education funding is important, and I think we can all get on board with advocating for more funding for all schools. That's a place where we agree. But what we really need to talk about here is that there are 30,000 children in this Commonwealth who don't have high-quality options. There are children who are only going to get one shot at 5th grade, one shot at 6th grade. And there may be teachers and unions who don't want those kids to have high-quality options because they're more focused on their own school. But let's remember, this is about urban centers. I don't know why all of these school committees have said to vote no on question 2. It actually doesn't make any sense because none of them are going to be impacted by this. This is about our urban centers.
On to the next question. Critics argue that one of the reasons that Massachusetts charter schools in particular perform pretty well is that they can effectively remove or discipline underperforming students. In fact, state data show that charter schools enroll only 4% of all students, but account for 6% of the removals. Many charter schools also have higher discipline rates. Shouldn't that be addressed before we just open this up to 12 new schools per year?
I think it's really important to think fundamentally about what our schools are doing well and what might the discipline systems be leading to. So I would be really concerned if what was happening was that charter school students were being disciplined and then they were dropping out of school and they were attriting. There was attrition to the district. But actually, if you look in Boston, for example, charter schools have lower attrition, despite what might be the case in disciplinary situations, than the district schools. We have higher stability rates, meaning that more of our students start the year and end the year with us. So I think that's really important because what we're not seeing is kids being kicked out of our schools and going back to the district. What we are seeing is that children are being held to very high standards behaviorally and academically, and they are thriving and they are staying in our schools, graduating from our schools, going on to college and being successful there at more significant rates than the district.
Barbara, your response?
I hardly know what to say because it's so inaccurate. What we know is that in charter schools, the population of students who enter 9th grade is not the same population and size as it is when they leave in 12th grade. As indeed, there are drop-offs of 50–60% of students from 9th grade to 12th grade. That may not be what the department calls attrition, but those students are coming back to our public schools. I talk to teachers every day. I talk to guidance counselors, principals who say, those are the children who show up in our public schools. The other thing is, charters don't take students in the middle of the year. We welcome all students. We are not selective.
So, Barbara, let's talk about putting all the nitty-gritty aside, right? Who could be asked to leave, where the money is, anything like that. The Brookings Institution found that charter schools, specifically in Boston, as Shannah keeps talking about urban centers, have, quote, large positive effects on educational outcomes. That includes better MCAS scores, better SAT scores, and AP exam pass rates. Why not expand that? Why not let more children experience that instead of saying to parents, just tough, you're stuck with your school that you don't like?
There's a brilliant piece in Commonwealth magazine today that I invite people to look at from a researcher at Harvard that said that, in fact, those outcomes, more and more research is suggesting that those outcomes don't last, that they don't carry through into college and beyond. We were talking today at the Mass Partners meeting with the president of the PTA, and she was saying, we need to stop talking about test scores as the way that we understand how our children are doing and really begin to look at the whole child. And children are complex human beings. The idea that we're going to make policy decisions based on something as small and as insignificant as a test score to determine the quality of experience that a child has in school is one of the sort of undercurrents of this debate.
But that is the measure we use right now, right?
And that's disturbing to me, and I think we need to really push back against that. I don't think that's helping any of our children. And I will say, when I say to any of our children, I really need to correct the point from Shannah. There are 230 districts in this state. already that lose funds from charter schools.
All right, I have to wrap you there. What's your response about the performance on MCAS and testing?
First of all, I believe that MCAS matters and is a fair measure of how our schools are performing. Everybody is held to the same standards, and if charter schools are performing better, then that's something we should look at. But fine, let's look at college outcomes. Our schools outperform district schools in terms of college acceptance, persistence, graduation rates. I'm so proud that from Boston Collegiate last year we sent a first-generation college student to Dartmouth from an immigrant family, a first-generation college student to Brown, a first-generation college student to Wesleyan. They're amazing college outcomes that my colleagues and I are getting because our mission is focused on delivering outcomes for students over the long term. We do care about the whole child, and that's what we're getting
We have to take that up on the other side of the break. Coming up, your questions for Barbara Madeloni and Shannah Varon as we continue our live charter debate. Tweet us using the hashtag CharterDebate.
Be right back.